There we go. Alright, there we go. I'm back with some Limbus company because I wanted to test out a team that I might want to use to defeat that Tom guy, the Tom Capo. That I forgot the name of, even though I probably shouldn't have forgotten his name, but whatever. Just gonna use some boxes here. I need 5. I think I need 5 modules to go into the mirror dungeon, so this should be enough. Oh, that's already a little bit too much. Well, whatever, it's fine. I still don't know how I am supposed to... I'm supposed to get the hard mode in mirror dungeons, but I honestly don't care enough. It's not that I wouldn't like being able to do hard mode, it's just that I just don't give a shit. Where's the team that I built? Or I didn't save it. Maybe that's honestly a possibility. Alright, I guess we're just building it right now. So this isn't gonna be a great team, mind you, because I do not have the identities to make a perfect team. Let's see what kind of egos do I have equipped on here. Okay, well that's good enough, I guess. I don't think I have any specific teams that are really great on the team I'm building. But yeah, it will all start with Kurakumo, Ishmael, and then I'll add a couple more Kurakumos. One of them is Kurakumo Honglu, because I do have to have Honglu in my party for the boss fight I'm building this team around. This way I can get the added effects of Kurakumo, Ishmael, and also all of these guys are strong against slashing damage, which is the only damage that the boss does, so that will also change things. And afterwards I'm also planning to use Blade Lineage, Mentor, Mersault, because again he's strong against slash damage, and I just thought it would be funny to use both the Kurakumo and Blade Lineage in the same team, even though I don't think they have much synergy with each other from what I remember, but Now, if I was gonna use a bleed team, I could have used, let's say, the manager of La Manche Dawn, because she is one of the strongest bleed characters in the game, but I don't have any other blood fiends, so unfortunately that's just not worth it for me. Dawn can only really show her full potential when other blood fiends are involved. So I just am gonna go with Blade Lineage Dawn for now. I might change things up, by the way. This is me still testing things out. Then I also have Kurakumo Clan Ryushi. I don't really think she's all like super great, but it's just another Kurakumo, and from what I remember, she's fatal to slashing? Oh, fuck that. But I don't really have any other Ryushi that's good. I guess I could just use you because you're just straight up a good identity, but whatever. Maybe later. Then I'm gonna go with Lobotomy Corporation, Remnant Faust. I understand that the Yuri ID isn't the strongest, but it does have poise and it has a passive that helps my poise identity, so not the worst. I'm gonna, instead of going with Blade Lineage Yi-Sang, I'm gonna go with the First Mate, because I think his passives and his coins are just better. Maybe I'm wrong though, but yeah. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see, we also are gonna use Blade Lineage. Why do I keep forgetting his name? I really shouldn't be forgetting his name. Sinclair, holy shit. I feel like it has more to do with the streaming than anything though. Then we also have Sync Association Otis. She's pretty decent. I could have used Blade Lineage Otis, but she's pretty darn terrible. A lot of these Blade Lineages are actually pretty bad. And out of all the Blade Lineages I have, I feel like these two are the best. I might have used Blade Lineage Faust if I had her, but... And then, this might surprise you guys, but Chef Gregor, because he has a decent passive that I could actually proc fairly decently. I suppose G-Corp also has a decent passive, but... The ally with the least HP heals 5 after winning a clash. Yeah, honestly, it's a decent passive, but honestly, Chef Gregor does a similar thing, and he actually has bleed on him, so in the end, I'd rather just have him fit the team a bit better. And it's just kind of fun to use Chef Gregor. I had to, well, I didn't have to, but I got him because he saved my ass in a fairly difficult fight in the LCB checkup, and I promised that I would actually use him and up-tie him and so on if he saved me there, so might get some uses out of. And then with Rhodia, honestly, the Lobotomy Ego, the Sword Sharpening with Tears is just a really good fucking ego. Yes, I could use N-Corp Rhodia, I could use... I don't really know if there's another Bleed or Poise Rhodia, but I could use those, but honestly... This Rhodia is just really fucking good. And it's not the worst to have another status ailment on your team, because I'm fairly sure that this Heathcliff does get stronger the more status ailments you get on your enemy, so not the worst idea out there. I'm not really sure how the balancing will go for this team. I'll probably have to change some identities around if I have the ability. Alright, should I... Guess we'll just get Starlight, whatever, and then... We'll do this one, and we have 10 left, which we'll choose... I guess this. Don't really care that much. This is an easy mirror dungeon. Okay, so now we have the choice between Poise and Bleed or Slash. A lot of them actually have Slash, so let's go with Slash. All allies with 2 or more Slash skills, that's actually pretty decent, and we'll just go with this one. Normally I focus a little bit more on the status ailment, but I suppose with this team, it really doesn't matter that much. By the way, sorry if you hear me drinking in the background, but I have some tea that I still haven't finished, and if you know anything about tea, then you know that it's the worst when it's cold. Alright, so automatic factory we're not gonna do because that takes too long. I think the gambler one is the easiest, so let's go for that one. I keep forgetting to check if there's a way to do hard, like a floor in hard mode, because I feel like there was something like that at some point. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do this. We definitely want these 2 Kurakumos. I don't really think I'm gonna have Kurakumo Ryushi in my team if she's weak to Slash. Then we'll have the Blade Lineage in there, and then who will be our 7th? I feel like it should either be Lobotomy Corporation, Remnant Faust, or Lobotomy Ego Rhodia. Rhodia is just straight up stronger, I'd say, and would probably clash a lot better. But for now, let's just try and actually do something with the team. I guess Sync Otis could also be decent, and I think I got a message. No, alright. I thought I heard a message. I had sent a message to a friend of mine that I hadn't spoken to in a bit. Not super long, but it's been, I think, a week, maybe 2 weeks. And I usually try to talk to them at least once every 2 weeks or so. Let's see, let's go this route. It's important to upkeep your friendships and all that. It's not really something I care for all that much personally, but I do understand that it's necessary. Okay, I don't really have to think much on the human fights yet. I do actually want to make a team with Kurokuma Ishmael, because when I saw her design initially, I was like, damn, that's really cool. I always like Sayo of Library of Runa. I've always loved the Kurokuma aesthetic. Way cooler than the Blade lineage, if I'm gonna be entirely honest. Let's see if the FX actually activated. When the Kurokuma clan member dies, yeah, that's not super important. Okay, so what I could actually do with Blade Kurokuma Ryushi is actually have her die so that Kurokuma Ishmael could get that added slash power up, but I'm not really sure if it's worth losing an identity over. It doesn't say that it has a max, so does that mean that, let's say 2 or 3 of my Kurokuma identities die, that she would just get 3 slash power up? I feel like that would be a bit much, because then you could, let's say that you have 12 Kurokuma identities, which I know you don't have that much in the game. But let's say at some point every sinner is gonna have a Kurokuma identity. Would that mean that she could get 11 slash power up for the entire encounter? That would be pretty neat. Okay, so there is also another reason to maybe have the Kurokuma Ryushi, because if 3 Kurokuma clan allies are defeated, gain battle ready. Bleed potency and count inflicted with this unit skills or coin effects +1, gain 1 slash power up and 3 slash damage up. Might be worth it. Maybe worth it. Just to be able to activate this passive. Combat start, if there are 2 allied Kurokuma clan identities in the encounter, including this unit, gain 1 Dark Cloud Blade. Not bad, not bad. Did we get that resonance? No, we did not. It doesn't really matter for this right now, I'd say. Which resonance did we get? This encounter, when this unit takes damage that brings them their HP down to 0, nullify that damage, then blah blah blah. Okay, well that's not super useful right now. When this unit gains poise, potency with its own skills or coin effects, give 1 poise count to 1 ally with no poise. Okay, well that's good. The last coin on the last skill in the chain deals 20 damage. Do they mean resonance chain, or do they mean this? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I should not overthink this. As long as I get a sort of idea of how this team would work, that would be fine. Also, I get to see a bunch of new animations, which is cool. And hey, I can use Yuri, which is always a good thing. And I know that you're supposed to lose with claim die bones, but I didn't feel like it, and honestly in these fights it isn't really necessary, and that's a cool animation. Seriously, the Kurokuma just looks cool as hell. I really do hope that we get more Kurokuma identities so that we can build a better team around it. From what I can tell, only maybe 2/3 Kurokumas are actually decent. From what I know, Gregor Kurokuma is not that great, Rodias is pretty awful. And while Honglu one isn't terrible, it also doesn't really work super well in a bleed team. Its strongest skill relies on the fact that you don't have a lot of bleed. Maybe it will work because I don't have many bleed identities right now. I'm also checking on average what kind of ego resources I would have with this team, because I would like to be able to not necessarily spam fluid sac, but at least be able to heal my guys from time to time. With how unbreakable coins work in this game, it's otherwise just a real pain. One of the reasons why I'm also prioritizing having characters that are strong against slash damage. If you're gonna have an enemy that only does one type of damage, then it's honestly just a good idea to have guys that are strong against that damage. Now, I'm not gonna look at sin affinities and all that shit, because at that point my pool of what identities are good would grow a little bit smaller. I suppose it might also make it a little bit bigger, because there might be an identity that is really strong against most of the affinities that the boss attacks with, and maybe normal slash resistance, and then it would even out against a person that had strong slash resistance, but maybe a weakness against an affinity that this boss fight uses. Well, words. Apply one sword of the homeland, render to highest resonance, blah 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 blah. Apply one sword of the homeland, I'm pretty sure that's just a generic power up. Other blade lineage allies in ascending order of speed, slows to faster 2 times maxed. Rendering to other blade lineage allies, so it's not him. So this is just a generic, this is kind of just a buff for the blade lineages that kind of suck, that makes sense. Yeah, and gaining a bunch of poise. Yeah, he's just mainly a support unit for all the blades, while also being strong in his own right. God, his coins are fucking terrible. A +1. Like, he has 3 coins, and he has 3 coins, but his max is a 9. That's ridiculous. How are you supposed to actually use this? Even if he gets that 1 coin power up, that would still just be a 12, which is barely acceptable for a skill 1. I guess that's the problem with ideas that were there since the beginning, or at least really early. They're either gonna be crazy strong or they're gonna be crazy weak. Because Project Moon didn't know what they were doing yet. They are improving a lot of stuff though. I actually, what would you call it? I listened to a dev stream. It was already maybe a week or 2 old. But I listened to one of those dev streams, and they are actually adding a bunch of stuff that I think would fix most of my problems with the game. For example, they would allow you to revive your units in an encounter if you use lunacy, and it doesn't have to be paid lunacy, it can just be any lunacy. And that's one of my biggest problems with this game, where for me a lot of it is just wanting to be able to see the story and not really giving a shit about the gameplay. This is a solution to that problem, right? Because now I can just pay to win. But also, from what I'm hearing, they're trying to add new modes that hopefully will add a bit to the player experience when there isn't anything else going on. Like for example a Walpurgis Night or maybe a Kanto or an event. Because I do think that that is Limbus Company's biggest weakness at the moment, where it just doesn't have much to do. Well, no, that's not the way to word it. It doesn't have much to do on a day-to-day basis. Where you don't have anything that you can do that takes maybe 10 to 20 minutes and then you're done. It doesn't make the player... It doesn't... Limbus Company doesn't try to be a daily habit for the player, which a lot of gacha games do want to do. And maybe that's just something good, that I should congratulate Limbus Company on not trying to trick the player into playing more. But it is a weakness, because unless I'm specifically in the mood to do a mirror dungeon or I have something to aim for like I have now, I'm not gonna play Limbus Company unless there's a Kanto or an Interfollow or something like that. Hell, I didn't play the Kanto for a good while after it was out. Hell, I haven't finished it yet. Should probably look at what type of buff that everybody is getting from the two main units. It's going pretty well. I don't think that this team is as fast as the Rupture team that I was using before. I was also checking out if I could use Rupture on the boss. But it's doing pretty decent. Also, I love that Heathcliff is just swinging that katana like it's a baseball bat. Really in character there. Ooh, a tremor one, that's not something I really need. Oh, there we go. Can I... Yeah, okay, I can actually make it hard, okay. Okay, well, let's try this floor. Does it actually change anything? Out of curiosity? You know what, I'm just gonna do it, see what happens, and if I get absolutely destroyed, then I know that this team ain't that great. Wait, does that actually change? Hold up. Oh yeah, it does change the gifts you get. That's neat. Let's see, which one shall we do? I'm not gonna do Hell's Kitchen, because I remember being kinda annoyed when I had to do that boss fight. I think our only realistic options are either the Emotional Judgment or To Be Cleaved. Let's go with To Be Cleaved, because it kind of fits with our slash-based team. First time doing this dungeon in hard mode, whoo! Oh wait, I might have fucked up. Hold up. Hold up. I 100% fucked this up because I remember that in hard mode your guys don't get leveled up. To level 55, I'm pretty sure. I'll check it out, but I might straight up be fucked. Yeah, there we go, okay. That's not happening. Oh, I fucked up. I 100% fucked that one up. That's the reason why I never did hard mode. Well, we can just go again. Does that actually count as entering a mirror dungeon though? Or do I have to clear a mirror dungeon? Not log in, or did I already do the mirror dungeon? I already did the mirror dungeon one, alright. Alright, let's try this again, and this time we are not gonna do hard mode. It's a shame though. It would be nice to be able to test your team in harder difficulties without having to put in all the resources to level them up and everything. I do think that a lot of the updates they did recently have really helped the game. Just overall a better experience so far, and I'm actually really happy about that. I really want to like Limbus Company, but it's made it hard sometimes. Let's do this one. Oh, what the fuck? I guess they have really high rolls. Oh, what the fuck? No. Why did I do this? Why did I do this? Why am I an idiot? I didn't change. Oh, I didn't change who was being sent out. Okay, that's on me. That's on me, but we should be able to survive one encounter like this, right? It's not like we have the worst identities equipped right now, but yeah, I'm being an idiot. Yeah, y'all just dodge, please. Yeah, no, this is fine. It's not the worst. And hey, we'll get some sanity for... Fucking hell. Is your clashing that bad? Aren't you supposed to be good at clashing? It is a shame that the Dawn Sync identity, the older one, isn't that good anymore. I always really liked the aesthetics of the Sync office, and Dawn fits it so freaking well. It was one of the first identities where I just thought to myself, yes, I really do want that identity. I never really got it because I had other priorities. I was actually building my first team at that time to get through a lot of the Kantos. And I was streaming Limbus Company at that point. So I really didn't have the luxury to use any of my resources on anything but my main team. I honestly don't have that right now, but I am getting a little bit bored of charge at this time. Damn, Otis, you are not doing too well. Damn, those attacks felt a little bit flaccid. I wonder if maybe they could make the mirror dungeons a bit more fun if they shorten them a tick, maybe have 3 floors instead of 5. And then maybe have it be all Abno battles instead of just human battles. Because Abno battles are a lot more fun, right? Like, we can all agree to that. That might work. Yeah, human battles are useful for farming, but I think I would rather just have the Mirror Dungeon be actually fun to play instead of... Well, it's not bad. It's just kinda there. Damn, this is taking forever though. Also, damn Otis. I suppose your sanity ain't going up that much when I'm just dodging with you. And these guys have pretty high rolls, so... Our dodge is actually doing really fucking well. To be fair, 16 dodge is pretty good. That's maybe one below Moriarty Sinclair, and his whole deal is that he dodges. Otis, why are you doing this to me, man? Girl, woman. I would actually not mind to get that new sync done as well, because, again, aesthetics are on point. I really like it. Especially that weird fire fisting that she has. That's just plain old cool. And I'm pretty sure it's a poise identity, but also a burn identity. I don't have many burn units, though. I have a couple of Liu units, but I don't have any 3-star Liu units. I have, I think, most 2-star units, but I don't have a lot of 3-stars. That's my biggest problem. Holy shit, I really hope that, that Otis doesn't die. Please don't. Guess this team really falls apart if they don't have the right support. Actually, the Kurakumos aren't doing too bad. But yeah, holy shit, this one encounter takes so fucking long. Really makes a difference, I guess. There we go. Alright, this time we're actually using the proper units, please. Alright, let's... okay, this is fine. Sometimes I make the mistake of actually not reading, and then I realize that I don't have any identities with the right affinities, and then I'm just fucked. Isn't gonna stop me from skipping everything, but still. I do actually really like the Dawnblade lineage art. I think it's her little smiley face that really gets me. It's just really cute. Alright. Start with Kurakumo. Then we'll do Blade lineage. And then finally Faust. You didn't do all that well, unfortunately, Otis. Yeah, your passive is decent though, so it's fine. Actually, we do want to... wanna do these. There we go. Alright, let's hope that this will do a little bit better. Also, the encounter being a bit faster. I think that one encounter lasted maybe 10 fucking minutes. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but 10 minutes for one encounter on floor 1. Could you imagine how long the mirror dungeon would take if I actually had to do that for every encounter? It already takes me up to an hour apparently to get through a mirror dungeon, which is really slow, I imagine. I'm sure there are some status ailments more suited to getting through mirror dungeons as quickly as possible. Funnily enough, I'd say Tremor is pretty decent at it from what I've seen. Such a cool animation. I really like the smoke trail, the orangey, yellowy smoke trail behind her slashes. That's just really fucking cool. It's always something I really liked about the Kurikumo aesthetic, just the smoke trail, or the cloud trail is the better word for it, because Kurikumo. It's just really freaking cool. And just the way they wear their suits, or in this case, what do you call the thing that Ishmael is wearing? Is it a kimono or yukata or something like that? I don't actually know. It is pretty cool though. To be fair, Sayo was always fairly well designed in my mind. She stood out against the other Kurikumo who mainly wore suits. And she did really feel like a boss, and wow, that's terrible. I gave the damage up, so that's not the worst. Wait, why does he already have a colored counter or defensive skill? Did I uptie Blade Lineage Sinclair to uptie 4? Really? Blade Lineage Sinclair uptie to level 4. Wouldn't have dunked it. Would not have dunked it. Might also be that he got... Maybe he got that with an uptie 3. I do remember there being some units that get their colored defensive skill, or they gain an affinity on their defensive skill at uptie 3. But really, Blade Lineage Sinclair. He's a fairly old unit, so this must be something that they added to him after the fact, after he came out. Huh. The effect applies only to the 5th deployed identity. That should be fine. Alright. Super shop on the next floor. 10%. Okay, that's neat. That is neat. First turn start of a wave. Fastest ally gains 3 points. Sure. I do like the fairy abnormality, it's cute, even though they also eat you. If all enemies for all abnormality parts have bleed, all allies... Okay, that's not bad. We could use some speed. And let's leave it at that. Let's upgrade the slash gifts first, because basically all my guys have slash, except maybe... Well, I know that Rhodia has mostly piercing. Alright, let's kill these guys for just existing. Oh, that's such a cool animation where she just dodges out of the way a little bit and then she hits. That's so cool. I know they can't give cool animations like that to every identity, but still really fucking cool. Would be cool if they update Yuri a little bit. I've always thought her weapon, the sort of red blade, I thought was really cool. I don't think it's a lightsaber or anything like that. And dang, dude, I know that your clashing fucking sucks, but must be some way for you to not have a loss every time. I don't think I have any better blade lineage though. I guess maybe I could use Otis, but I don't think Otis is that much better than Sinclair in this situation. And I actually do have a Otis that fits better in the team, so... maybe I could get Faust blade lineage or something, and whoa, you're gonna get staggered soon, which isn't ideal. It doesn't really matter. Alright, let's do this. Yay, we did it. Which one do we want? The slash one more like... Yeah, the slash one is the only relevant one here. Oh, I do? Okay. Do we have a lot of pride skills? Maybe. Guess we don't have much of a choice and we're gonna have to go with the chicken guy. Wait. Please tell me I did it. Ugh. Did it keep being on hard? Fuck! Pretty sure it plays on hard now, which sucks. Yeah, fuck me. Oh my god, I am genuinely getting frustrated by this. Fuck. I'm wasting so much fucking time. I forgot that you actually have to change it back up. Okay, it's fine though. It's fine. It's fine. I just need to remember to change it back up. Wait, why do I get 28 of these clock resource now when I got, I think, 14 the last time? Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's frustrating. That's actually frustrating. It's all my fault, but it's still frustrating. Alright, I'm gonna take a second just vent a little bit and not scream in the mic, so hold up. Where's my nose so fucking itchy? That is frustrating. That is absolutely frustrating. when I want to deal with it. Ow! Fuck! Okay, apparently I didn't turn off my mic. Well, whatever. Let's hope I didn't say anything embarrassing. I might have, honestly. I don't remember what the fuck I said. Alright. This time, I really need to remind myself to undo the hard mode. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be sad. I don't really need any gifts. Wait, is it on hard mode as well? Did I do that on... Did I do the first floor on hard mode? Huh. Well, that would explain... Honestly, yeah, probably, with how I keep fucking up. But yeah, okay, I guess I did the first one on hard mode, but that means that a lot of my identities weren't fully leveled up, so it's honestly kind of crazy that I was able to do it. I guess that just means that the first couple of floors, even on hard mode, aren't that difficult. By the way, what did you actually mean with MD achieved in 3 days? I assumed that it was something to do with how I keep fucking up, but might be something different. Actually, clear selection. We'll start with Kurakumo. There we go. Then we'll do Blade Lineage. Wait, Sinclair's level? No. I thought I was genuinely surprised. For a second I thought, did I actually level up Sinclair, Blade Lineage Sinclair to level 55, but because we're on normal, all of them are level 55. That would have genuinely surprised me if that was the case. Genuinely. Guess we'll do it like this. Well, I already streamed once, I think 2 days ago, but yeah, I'm back to Limbus company. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream the Kantos, because my god, that shit was frustrating, and I still think that a lot of what the Kanto had to offer, it was kind of frustrating. But I'm farming the mirror dungeons because I'm trying to build a team to fight against that one capo from the Tom. I don't remember his name. No, I already got all the rewards from Mirror Dungeon. I'm trying to finish the Battle Pass so that I have enough resources to build a new team. I don't know if it's a wall, because I've only tried it once, and I almost defeated him. From what I know about the boss, you have to only get him to something akin to 800 HP, and then you win. And I got him to like 850. So I think that even with my current charge team, I could probably defeat him. I just didn't feel like leaving it up to chance. I really don't want to get another Don Quixote situation where I just get super freaking frustrated and burn out of Limbus company. That would 100% not be fun. Would you believe that he got nerfs? Honestly, yeah. Like I said before, I don't think he's that difficult. It's just that I genuinely do not want to have to fight him over and over again. I could see Project Moon having had him be way harder than he is now. Project Moon isn't great at balancing encounters on the first try. Hell, even with Library of Runa, I remember Xiao being an absolute bitch to fight initially. Was worth it though. That freaking combat page was pretty freaking cool. Achievement Mirror Dungeon Quest for Award next Thursday. They lack playtesters. Technically, if you think about it in a different way, aren't we all just Project Moon's playtesters? Used to be, even if you denied his unbreakables, he'll still be melting your sinners because he's still be dealing oof. Oof, that would absolutely have pissed me off so much. I already don't like unbreakable coins, mind you. I already really don't like it, because it basically fucks a player over that does... It makes it so that team building is a lot more important. And having strong identities being a lot more important. But, yeah, I'm trying to make a team that is strong against Slash as well. Mainly because of those unbreakable coins. And I realized that a lot of the Kurakumo is actually strong against Slash. And I do have Kurakumo Ishmael, which is my favorite Ishmael ID, by the way. Even though I don't really use her that much, because I don't really think that most of the Kurakumo identities are all that great. I think Heathcliff Kurakumo is pretty cool. But outside of him and Ishmael Kurakumo, what is honestly a good Kurakumo ID? I think the closest we have is Hong Lu Kurakumo, and even then, he doesn't even fit in his own team, because he doesn't want to have a lot of bleed to have his Cloud Cutter, I think it's called, do the most amount of damage. Endure to Slash, nope, you still take about 1.5 times the damage. Oof, hilarious, I brought in LC Remnant Faust for my kill team. Yeah, I'm honestly just trying things out. I'm not saying that this is my final team. I also experimented with a Rupture team, but I didn't have enough good Rupture IDs to make it work, especially because all my Hong Lu Rupture IDs were super weak against slashing, and were just not a good... what do you call it? A good fit for this boss fight. And I can't really make a proper bleed team either, because while I do have the Fang Office one, that's not really a bleed one, right? Yeah, I don't really have a great number of synergy teams. Honestly, I have one synergy team, and that is my charge team, and even then I don't have all the parts yet. I just don't have the resources to make multiple teams, unfortunately. But right now I'm trying to get those resources. I'm doing something that I swore I would never do. I am actually farming the Mirror Dungeon. Which... it's something. It takes me, if I'm lucky, an hour to farm a Mirror Dungeon. So it's gonna take me a while to get those resources. But I should have at least 2-ish more months before the Arknight collab. And I'm hoping to be able to defeat Kanto 8 before the Arknight collab. Because apparently the Arknight collab is gonna be something akin to an interfollow. And a lot of that time with interfollows, if you're not up to date when the interfollow drops, you're not allowed to participate in the interfollow. And I really want to participate in that interfollow. Funny enough, it took Hei Lang roughly 3 cantos later for me to finally build Daishi, Hong Lu and Meichu. Let's go with poise. No, that's actually not the best for me. On crit, inflict 1 defense down next turn. That's not really great because my poise identities aren't in the first and second slot. Is it the first interfollow of this season? I'm pretty sure I think one interfollow is gonna come before the Arknight interfollow. I think I read it or heard about it from a developer stream. It's gonna be an interfollow surrounding making Honglu's sister a great matriarch or whatever. I don't know the details. So there's gonna be one interfollow before the Arknight interfollow. When an ally wins a clash using a skill that inflicts bleed, blah blah blah, yeah, that's fine. Is it me, or is the mirror dungeon giving you less specific gifts? It's too soon, isn't it? For an Arknight collab? Not really, the game is already, what, like 2 years old? I know that I honestly didn't expect Limbus Company to ever collab with anything, because when it started, Project Moon's games weren't mainstream. But Project Moon has really, not Project Moon, Limbus Company has really grown since then. I'm fairly sure it's getting to the cusp of being one of the more popular gacha games. Or maybe they squeezed the club interfollow late September. If I'm not mistaken, the collab was supposed to be in September, yes, right? Because I know that the next interfollow that's supposed to be about Honglu's little sister is supposed to come after the time-killing time event is over. So that would be... it's for about a month, so that should be around late August it should finish. So let's say that interfollow's time period is gonna be like 2-ish weeks, two-ish weeks, then yeah, then if it comes if the Arknight collapse comes immediately after that event, after that interfollow, then it should be around September. I don't really like skill replacement all that much, but that's mainly because I suck at knowing what my skills do. Also, I'm trying to test the team out for how to get a feel on if they could work together. So I don't think replacing my skills would actually be super useful. I need to see what kind of resources I get, right? So that I know which egos I can use. Ideally, I would like to be able to use Fluid Sec because it's just a really good ego, and with Unbreakable Coins it's just super useful to be able to heal your team consistently. But with this team, that's not gonna happen, I think. It's not like they don't give me the resources I need. As you can see, I'm getting a decent amount of the orange resource. I'm getting a decent... well, I get a shit amount of gloom. And I'm getting some pride. Is this pride? I don't actually know if this is pride. I don't know the names of all the resources. But, yeah, I don't really think I'm gonna be able to spam Fluid Sec, at least. That's true, but... oh, yeah, you're right. There's also a Warp Train rerun. I totally forgot about that. I wonder what kind of identity we're gonna get. It would be cool if we got a Cassetti identity. I would love to have a Cassetti identity. I would say have Gregor have a Cassetti identity because he forgot the name. But Gregor already has a Blood Fiend identity, so that doesn't make much sense. Maybe... would be good for a Cassetti identity... maybe Sinclair? I could see him having a Cassetti identity. Let's see. Wrath, Lust, Sloth, Gluttony, Gloom, Pride, and Envy. Envy. We will. It's guaranteed now with all the Bloodfiend IDs. Gotta be Sinclair or Cliff. I'd prefer it being Sinclair, because Cliff already has a decent bleed identity in the Kurokuma one. And I don't think that Sinclair has a decent bleed identity, except maybe Enclair, but is Enclair really a bleed identity? Let's be honest. He barely does any bleed. He's more of a nuking identity. That's true, but Hong Lu is already gonna get that the big seasonal identity, right? So then he would get 2 identities back to back, and I feel like that's a bit much. I'd say it's either gonna be Sinclair, and I think Sinclair's the biggest possibility. Would be funny if we maybe got a female Cassetti, but I don't remember if they ever changed the gender of identities that have been established in this game. I think they keep the gender fairly even, so I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. We got, let's see. Gotta be Sinclair or Cliff. Can be Hong Lu. Sinclair, he's saying Otis are the sinners with the most IDs right now. Yeah, but Otis. Okay, yeah, that's true. So it's definitely not gonna be Otis, and she already has the most IDs. Does Sinclair have the most IDs? Okay. So if we're gonna say that it's not Sinclair, he's saying, or Otis, then maybe Mersault. I honestly... Mersault's character doesn't really fit too much with it, though. Cassetti was pretty unstable, right? So that's why I thought Sinclair was the most fitting. No. I was gonna say Gregor again, but Gregor already has a Bloodfiend. Give me that. Dang it. Funny option he's saying, and he's pen packing by Princess Rodion. That could work. If I had my way, I would prefer it to be... Also, I think it would also be funny if it was someone like Ryushi. I think it could fit Ryushi a little. But again, I don't know if they gender change the identities. You know, if it's based off of a male, then it's gonna always be a male sinner. I don't know if that's a hard rule or not. I don't really like any of the gifts I'm getting here. All of them are super good. Can I refresh? Do I get a free refresh? Alright. Well, slightly better, I suppose. Guess we can do this one for the poise gift. They do? Okay. Which ones have they done, though? I don't remember any of the genders being changed so far. Yeah, no, no, actually... the bug ID that was based off of the general. I'm pretty sure the bug general in Kanto 1 was a dude, and Otis got that ID. So yeah, no, they do. Oh, yeah. Also Pirate Greg, LCCB Rodion is Effie, and Quad... Oh yeah, no, yeah. You're right, they do. Okay, yeah, then if we have that, then with the Sinners available, which... There are 4 Bloodfiend identities right now, which are Dawn. Okay, so we already have a Blood Fiend for Dawn. We have a Blood Fiend for Otis and Gregor and for Rodion. So also Faust already has a Warp Train identity, and Heathcliff also already has a Warp Train identity. So I feel like we can probably say that they also aren't gonna get an identity from this Warp Train event because they already have one. So then our options are Yi Sang, Ryushi, not Heathcliff, Mursault, Hong Lu, Ishmael, and Sinclair. Now, if we're gonna take away the sinners that are left that have the most identity, then Sinclair wouldn't be one. I don't think Hong Lu is gonna get one because he's already getting a bunch of stuff because it's his season. So it would be funny if it was Mursault, honestly. Him being all could you imagine Mursault being all unhinged, but still in his Mursaulty way? But the next Kanto is gonna be about Ryushi, so my bets are if we're gonna get a Cassetti identity, it's gonna be Ryushi. That's my bet. If I'm actually right about that, that would be insane though. I feel like nobody's gonna think that Cassetti's identity will be a Ryushi identity. But honestly, wouldn't be bad. I don't think Ryushi has a decent bleed identity so far. She does have Kurakumo, but let's be honest, most Kurakumo identities aren't that great. They're not bad, but I don't really think Ryushi Kurakumo is anything special. It's better than a lot of Blade Lineage identities though, and I'm sure she'll work fine with Ishmael Kurakumo as well. She's the only good old Kurakumo ID. Yeah, the old Kurakumo, right? Well, actually, I say Hong Lu overall was better previously, I'd say. He just doesn't really work well with a Kurakumo team. I wonder if they actually get those uptype 5s that the devs were talking about, if they will change some of the old IDs to work better with the recent IDs. I would like Kurakumo Hong Lu to maybe get an update so that his reroll of skills could also work when he's on a Kurakumo team. Like maybe instead of the reroll only happening when there is a limited amount of bleed, it could always happen, or maybe... Well, honestly, yeah. It could always happen if, let's say, Kurakumo Ishmael is on the field. That would be a pretty cool one, right? Well, yeah, he's a terrible clasher, but you don't use Hong Lu to clash, right? You use him to do damage with his Cloud Cutter skill. I feel like I'm not really getting a feel for if these guys work together well. Like, they're working in this mirror dungeon, but maybe I'll have to wait until we get to the higher floors. Might be fun to make a full Kurakumo team though, but I don't think I have many other Kurakumos yet. I think all the Kurakumos I have are on this team right now, which are Kurakumo Ryushi, Kurokumo Honglu, Kurokumo Heathcliff, and Kurokumo Ishmael, which I would say are probably the best Kurokumo. Yarning. Morning. But you would, to get the full use out of Ishmael, you would want to get all 6 Kurokumos together. But is that really worth it? Are the bad Kurokumos at least decent when you get the full... if you get Ishmael on the field as well? Doing alright. Trying to get the team together to defeat that one capo. I think someone said his name in the chat, so I can actually... I don't feel like scrolling up. I'm trying to get a new team together to fight that one capo boss fight in the 8th interfollow. I'm not really sure which one I'll do yet. I'm trying different things out and seeing what works. Yeah, same, man. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of what team might work. I would like to have a team that is slash resistant, and most of the identities I have right now are slash resistant. Aside from that, ideally they would work around a single mechanic, but as you can see, I don't have that right now. This is a weird mixture of bleed and poise. And even then, is Kurokumo Honglu even a bleed ID? Yeah, he inflicts bleed, but he actively works better when there isn't much bleed. Yeah, I don't really have many options to team build so far. Most of my resources were put into the charge team, and as much as I could defeat the capo with the charge team, I'm fairly sure I'm a little bit bored of it. Just using the same team over and over every time gets a little bit boring. I have a decent amount of Tremor IDs, not the best Tremor IDs, but good enough. I could make a decent Tremor team if I wanted. I don't have the egos to fully support them though. That's my biggest problem right now. I barely have any egos. I don't have a lot of the identities, but my biggest problem right now is that I don't have a lot of egos. I am just incredibly unlucky when it comes to getting egos from the gacha. I've only gotten one ego with the gacha right now, and that's Pursuance. I have literally never gotten any other ego. Any other ego I've gotten, I got from buying it with shards. Let's see. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? I don't really know what these slash gifts do, so let's just go for this one. I feel like these abnos are a little bit easier. Let's go here. I don't know how many Lust or Pride skills I have, but we should be fine. Yes, there we go. The pipe is good. Did I pick the pipe? Really wish there wasn't as much of a delay as there was, but... oh, shit. It would be funny if Chef Gregor helps me out with this encounter again, though. I know that Chef Gregor is a shit ID, but he has helped me out a couple of times, so it would be funny if he does it again. It's almost like with Mariachi Sinclair, who has actually saved my ass in the early Kantos because of his insane dodge. I just kept dodging with Sinclair and it just worked out somehow. Oh, there's a skill that everybody is struggling against. I guess we're just dodging with Sinclair, because why not? Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
Yeah, it's not a bad clash. Is Cloudburst his skill tree? Because 16 on the skill tree is pretty piss poor, I'll admit, but it's not the worst. It's just average, right? 16 total power on the skill tree is the average for a skill tree, especially for a 2-star. Alright. Oh, fuck, I really need to stop doing that. I keep mispressing everything. Alright. I honestly wouldn't mind getting a Blade Lineage Faust as well, because from what I remember, the only decent Blade Lineages are actually Mursal Blade Lineage, which is just a really good ID, and then you got the Dawn and Faust. Those are the good or decent Blade Lineages. And the other ones are kinda terrible. Just a little absolutely terrible. But I'm not gonna use 400 charge on getting Blade Lineage Faust. That's just not happening. I'm not sure what I would use those shards for. Maybe just to uptie some egos. Or maybe uptie some identities so that I can get some more teams. I did just finish getting all my identities to uptie 3, so that was pretty good. Now I can at least use all of them in mirror dungeons and maybe experiment a little bit more with my teams. That was always something that I think Library of Runa did a lot better than Limbus Company, because with Library of Runa you could actually experiment a lot more with team compositions. And you guys might not have this problem. I don't know if you have all the IDs on your account. But I found that I was stuck only using the IDs that I focused on, right? Because I just didn't have enough resources to spread out to get everything. Well. Even now, I do have to be careful what team I select, because I'm not gonna have enough resources for another team. That's why I'm trying to figure out which one I really want. I don't really care. Don't really care about a Rupture Ego with this team. I don't really see anything I want here. Let's see if we get something from the refresh. Blue Sippo Lighter is alright. When hitting an enemy with a single coin skill or a pride, we have a couple of pride skills, so that's not necessarily bad. So at this point I need to take what I can get. I feel like maybe this is because of the update, but from what I've seen, it's harder to get specific gifts that work with the team that you got. I remember when I did the mirror dungeon previously, it gave me a lot more gifts that coincided with the team that I went for. So if I had a charge team, then I would get a lot more charge gifts. Oh, before I forget, Felix, are you familiar with the game Look Outside? It might pique your interest and it's really pretty cheap. I have heard of it. Isn't it that, I don't think it's a horror game. I don't know what to classify it as, but it's about the end of the world, and that abnormality has a really weird sound. But yeah, it's about the end of the world where a bunch of different weird shit happens, and if you look outside and you look at a thing that isn't described, then you become a monster or something.
당신이 생각하는 것보다
Really, I didn't really get that vibe from whatever I saw.
저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
It felt more thrillery, maybe is the best word for it. I don't think it describes it perfectly, but it does fit more than a horror game. Suspension, maybe, or mystery? Maybe thriller mystery is a good way to describe it.
제 예상만큼 관리자님의 능력이 우수하다는 것이
True.
증명되는
Well,
것 같아. 다행이군요.
Yeah, if we say that horror means to unsettle, or to invoke a feeling of tension into a person, then Look Outside could be considered a horror game. Maybe it's because a lot of horror games at this point use jump scares and really try to frighten you, that's why I didn't really feel like Look Outside would be a horror game. But yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't played it personally. But you think I would enjoy it?
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는
I really hope that the tier 5 one, the tier 5 update that they're gonna implement will really help some of the older identities keep up. I'm not saying that they need to be as strong as the ones that are currently being released, because that's just not how gacha games work. The newest identities are always gonna be the strongest, but it would be nice if they could at least keep up. I think you might kick your teeth in the first couple of hours in, but the systems are easy to grasp and it's not as punching as something as Fear and Hunger. Well, I did like Fear and Hunger decently much. I got a little bit bored with Fear and Hunger after I had to repeat myself a bit too much. Overuse whetstone, alright. Okay, so I'm not gonna do the murder on the Warp Express because I remember that being a pain in the ass. If I want more resources for the current event, then I could do time killing time. I don't really feel like I need them, but fuck it, why not? Yeah, I actually had a bit of a Fear and Hunger binge after I finished streaming it. I didn't finish the game, but I finished streaming it. And was honestly really fun. There's a lot of interesting lore in Fear and Hunger.
이었으면 좋겠네요.
I don't think Fear and Hunger is the type of game that I would actively enjoy playing as much as I would enjoy learning more about it. To me it seems like it's a similar feeling as a lot of people have with Five Nights... Is it Five Nights at Freddy's? Or is it... Fuck, I don't remember the title. You know, the animatronic game that I don't think a lot of people care about anymore, but it was super popular a bit back. Maybe a couple of years.
저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
I have a similar enjoyment of Fear and Hunger. I really like the lore, I really like what it's trying to say, it's just that the gameplay isn't my thing. The funny thing is, I don't actually dislike its approach to things, it's just that I get bored of having to do the exact same thing over and over again to get to the point where I actually want to be at. It's the same reason why I've never really gotten into Dark Souls as much as I've gotten into something like Monster Hunter, where I like Dark Souls' gameplay when I'm actually fighting the boss or experiencing something new. I just find it boring when I have to run back to the boss if I die and have to take 2 minutes just doing the same thing again. You got it right? If it helps, Look Outside does come with multiple endings. I do like that. Wait, doesn't Fear and Hunger also come with multiple endings? Which, you guys finished Fear and Hunger, right?
지금은 두렵지 않아요.
Oh, 10, that's actually really good. What is you guys' favorite Fear and Hunger ending? Because there are a couple, and I am curious. I don't really... I think my favorite ending is where we get to see all the new god forms of the main characters or the protagonist. I thought that was really cool.
되는 건 즐겁네요.
Let's see, I did that to Undertale, I read everything about it, I bought the game, I get my niece and nephew to play the game, but I myself have never played it. I also have never played Undertale. I know the basic gist of it, but I've never really gotten into it. I think I might like Undertale, but even with the little that I know about it, it wouldn't have the same effect on me as others. So I never really saw the point of playing Undertale anymore. It seems like one of those games that if you know nothing about it, it would be a really fun experience. But when you know even the slightest bit about it and the surprise is kinda ruined, it really doesn't matter anymore. See, first ending probably, ending B, second game I try to aim for ending while saving as many people as I can. Yeah, what would you guys consider the good endings for Fear and Hunger? Because a lot of them are kinda ambiguous. I'd say the good ending for Fear and Hunger 1 is where, I don't remember the guy's name, the guy that is all magic-y and stuff with blood, you know, the necromancer. I don't remember his name. But where he does put on the helm, where he does sit on the throne, but he doesn't become a new god. I think that would be considered the closest thing to a good ending for the first Fear and Hunger game. I think it's his special ending, where you have to do a couple of things to actually get it. And then for the second game, I honestly don't know. Like, maybe the one where the machine god is born, but even then, would you consider humanity becoming a hive mind good? Some would. I know that I have one friend that would absolutely want to join a hive mind if he could. I think the idea of it is disgusting, but everybody's different like that. Good ending for me of the first game is Ragnarfalder's ending as he gets to leave the dungeon with Moonless. That's true. Moonless is a good book. Is Moonless a girl or a boy? I think Moonless is a boy, but it might be a girl. But yeah, Moonless deserves to be happy. Ah, okay. Well, both endings aren't mutually exclusive. From what I remember that we learn in Fear and Hunger 2, both endings happen, right? Because Ragnarfalder's family line actually still exists and they started killing monstrosities and everything. While we also see a book where the necromancer, that the necromancer wrote, where he's like, oh yeah, I've done this and this and this, and that lines up with the ending where he becomes basically immortal. By the way, I do think that, I don't know if the person that told me this is in the chat right now, but I do remember a person in the chat telling me that I should have played Fear and Hunger 2 before Fear and Hunger 1 because it's way more player friendly. And I 100% agree. I think I would have enjoyed Fear and Hunger 2 way more than Fear and Hunger 1 if I played it first. I would have been a bit lost, and I do not like playing a game
즐겁네요.
in opposite order, but yeah, it would have been better. For the second game, I'll still go for logic ending. My goal is just trying to save the people who I can. Logic is still happening either way. Yeah, but in the logic ending, you're gonna have to sacrifice 4 of those people, right? So that logic can be born. So in that situation, would it actually be the good ending? Oh. There we go. I'm genuinely surprised that you're winning as many of these clashes. Your coins... Well, actually, Dom lineage coin power isn't the worst. Sinclair's is the worst. Really? I thought you had to... I thought you had to sack at least 4 characters, right? Is it really only 1? Huh. But why don't you care about your player character then? Fear and Hunger really is one of those games where the lore is just so freaking interesting. Nope, you just need to beat Kaiser and Logic by yourself. Okay, I would not have the patience to do that, but honestly, respect if you actually did that. You know, one game that I'm actually gonna play on stream after I'm done with AI is gonna be Etrian Odyssey. I already made the thumbnail and everything for it. I have wanted to play that on stream for a really long time. A friend of mine actually proposed it, saying, yeah, it's a really fun game and everything. But I kept just not doing it because reasons. Let's see, let's fuse this bad boy. We'll go with Slash. Which ones do we not need at the moment? I don't need a Rupture one. Don't think I have anybody that actually applies Rupture. Okay, it's not random. Good. And we got a 90% chance, so that should be fine. I did actually lose a couple of 90% chances a couple of times, which was pretty bad. So I'm assuming you're gonna get the new AI game. No, oh yeah, well, I am. But only if it comes out on something that isn't the Switch 2. Because I'm a bit iffy on the Switch 2, but I really do want it. I actually started streaming the AI, the second AI game, because I saw the trailer for the third one, and I was like, damn, I need to stream this now so that I can be ready for the third one. Ah, good. Thank fuck. No, I'm not boycotting the game or anything, but the console, like the Switch 2, from what I'm seeing, works fine enough. But I'm just uncomfortable with the idea of them being able to brick my console whenever they want. Even though I've actually read up on it a little bit more, and they aren't allowed to do that in Europe, so I should actually be fine. But there hasn't been any games on the Switch 2 that I really wanted anyway. The only one that I was a little bit tempted by was the remake or remaster, the port of Bravely Default. I really like Bravely Default. It is a great JRPG. Genuinely one of my favorite 3DS games, and I would love to be able to play it. I really wish they would put it on Steam. And I also really wish they would put Bravely Default something second. It's not Bravely Second, it's the game that came before Bravely Second. It's a really fun game. I actually have it on the 3DS, but I was never able to play it because my 3DS's circle pad broke, because I play too much Smash on it. So I've never been able to play that second Bravely Default game, but I've seen some really fun things about it, so I really want to play it. And I honestly would have just emulated it, but a lot of emulation for the 3DS doesn't really work properly yet, and I do want to experience these games the best I possibly can. But yeah, play Bravely Default if you can. It's a fun game. It actually does a lot for JRPGs that I wish that more JRPGs did. For example, you have a option in the menus to just turn off random encounters if you want. And it isn't just that you can turn it off, it's that you can actually how do you say this in English? You have a slider that gives you a choice if you want, let's say, 100% of the encounters, 50%, 10%, or even 200%. So you can actually decide how many random encounters you want and how much of them, right? So let's say that you're at the level in Bravely Default where you think, yeah, okay, I'm strong enough for the boss and I don't want to overlevel, just turn off random encounters. Do you want to grind a little bit so that you're higher level? Okay, turn the encounters to 200 because it will make it way easier. Bravely Default has a lot of, I guess, I don't want to call them mechanics, but quality of life improvements that a lot of JRPGs should strive for. The one thing in Bravely Default that wasn't perfect for me was that I got spoiled for a really big twist by a commenter on a Bravely Default review. I'm not gonna say the twist, but it still pisses me off to this day. There was no spoiler warning or anything. That commenter just had it all out in the open, not warning anybody, and it spoiled the entire fucking game for me, and I was still super pissed. Yeah, I do actually have to pay it, like, manually do these things, because from what I remember, okay, these guys are actually, I can't clash with this, so we'll just try and kill all these guys. God, look at these fucking coins though. A +1, his max is a 9, and this is his skill 2. A 9. His max power is a fucking 9. Does attack power at least give him better coins? I just do not see how this would work otherwise. Yeah, the 22 in his skill 3 is aight. His skill 3 is alright. It's a 22, but his other skills are a freaking 7 and a 9. That is absolutely ridiculous. Attack skills gain final power by the effects count for 1 turn. Oh wow, so instead of a 9, it's an 11. That's still terrible. That would be a sad day indeed if this was the best Sinclair ID. It's just one of those things where the older identities just have zero freaking balancing. Oh, and you only get the attack power if you lose. I don't think Sinclair is buff enough to take a lot of damage, so I personally don't really like. I don't really like it personally. Yeah, I am really excited for the new AI game. I'll admit, Nirvana hasn't been as exciting for me as the first AI game. But that's because I'm a little less excited about the Somniums. I know that they're trying to do new things with the Somniums, but it really just feels like a to-do list. Like, I'm just walking down a path, just doing things, and the whole time mechanic is a lot less relevant. When it came to the old Somniums in the first AI game, I did actually feel like I was not necessarily solving a puzzle, but at least doing something with the time, right? Like, I actually had to decide, okay, so which option do I want to do? And, oh, do I have enough time to do this option? You know, it actually felt a lot more relevant. I hope they go back a little bit more to the old game when it comes to Somniums. But overall the story seems fine. I'll admit I'm slightly less interested because I do feel like the story is a little bit less exciting than the previous one. But overall, it's just a really good game. It's still funny. It's still funny even though I do think they go a little bit overboard with a lot of the jokes. Like, they have too many moments where they try to be funny and where you can just hear them waiting for the audience to laugh, you know, a laugh track almost. And I'm just thinking, yeah, that didn't hit. But overall, it's still a fun game. It's not gonna be one of my favorite games of all time like the first AI, but I still like it. It's still good. Ooh, dominating. Come on, Abba. Ooh, no. Okay, this just gives a shit ton of bleed, so we'll do that. Oh, you have... I didn't know this guy had bleed. I thought he only worked on Tremor. That's genuinely surprising to me. He is based off Jack the Ripper, so it makes sense that he would give bleed, but I've always just assumed he had just... Tremor. This is... Okay. This should kill the staggered enemy, so we should be fine. I think what I'm gonna do is just make sure that the staggered enemy dies, because that 67 to 66 HP that is left is a little bit close for comfort. Let's say that one of the coins doesn't hit, then the staggered enemy is gonna survive, and I'd rather not have that. He mostly is haste bleed boss. Really? Wait, why did I think he was a Tremor boss? Is it literally just because he's in time killing time? Or is his second form Tremor? Is it second form Tremor? That might be it, right? This is a really nicely designed boss, even just from a character design perspective. He looks great with his coat on, and even when he pulls out his brains, it still looks really good. And the Jack the Ripper aesthetic and everything just really works. Time killing time is gonna be one of the best interfollows in the entire game. Damn, okay. Did I just gaslight myself into thinking this guy is a Tremor boss all this time? I could see myself doing that. Where I just barely paid attention to the boss and just thought to myself, the entire interfollow is based off of Tremor. Of course he's gonna be a Tremor boss. Okay, you're not gonna lose that, so it's no point in using you. Oh my god, look at this. Fucking look at this. A max 7. And it only gives you 2+ points count. Just look at this. Wow, a whole 15 damage on a staggered enemy. I really just... How the fuck is this favored? I'm not gonna question it. But... What? Why is it a 43 now? Well, whatever, I'm not gonna question it. But yeah, just, it's kinda terrible. It's just so many ways of terrible. In that sense, Yuri Faust got it pretty decent for a starter ID. She isn't necessarily super strong, but she at least has something going for her, and her final skill is actually pretty good. If you get all her, the full power of her skill is really good. It's a 26 on the skill 3. That's really good, even now. And her other skills aren't necessarily bad, and that +4 haste is also nice. She IDs got out pretty well, especially once you uptight to 4. Does the Heathcliff ID get a decent upgrade? Because honestly, it's a little terrifying how bad he is. 50
지금은 두렵지 않아.
50% HP is reasonable. 25 is a death warrant. You know what would be cool for the next Interfollow? If they did she IDs. I would absolutely love to get I don't remember what the oh, well, whatever. I don't remember what the main girl, woman for the she is called anymore, but I really like their depth perception as skill. That would be so cool. I used that one a lot because it was really fucking cool. And it would be nice to actually have some she identities to work well with the remaining she's, because who actually uses the remaining she's, right? Did this lose? No. Alright, let's get rid of this guy. There we go. I don't remember if it has Tremor, but his set is basically to overspeed you and give you a lot of bleed. Ironically, most of his skills have unclashable trade, so why bro needs the speed. He hits like a truck, and his S3 is a natural +1 to weight without much hoop jumping. That's pretty good. Cliff is also very good at running through evade skills because his S2 and S1 have pretty strong single hits. I also find it funny that if you Swyrodian activate her support skill for Heathcliff, his self-damage from S3 is basically negated. Maybe I should look more into Heathcliff. I always just bashed on him because he just wasn't that good in my eyes. But maybe if you build properly around him, it could work. Damn, I lucked out with how much speed I have here. I don't think you're gonna clash too well, but hey, we have a favorite, so... Wait, why is this one dominated? Yeah, I'm not gonna question it. Not gonna question it. Yeah, okay, we're just not gonna have you clash. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. I do have a soft spot for Yuri Faust, man. I still love Yuri. Hopefully we'll get something. We'll get something for her, man. She deserves it. Sure, you know what? Finally I'll get that one to lose. And Shidon is just speed, evade, and S3 that basically is an ego without needing sin resources. I think I have most of the no, I have all of the Shis. Maybe it would be fun to build a team around them if they are at least decent. After I'm done with this mirror dungeon, I'll check real quick. Might be fun. And most of the Shis are 2-stars, so they wouldn't be that difficult to... Well, no, that's not the word, difficult. Intensive, resource intensive to get at least up to a decent level, right? Do 2-star identities need less experience to reach max level? I used the She against Canto 7 when it first came out. They performed well. I didn't even need to change teams. Dang, that's honestly really impressive. To claim ta bones. Fucking amazing animations. See how we're gonna do this. I don't mind offsetting here. You already have enough bleed so that I don't think Kurikumo Honglu is gonna be super great against you. And we'll just offset with you as well, because as much as I love you, Sinclair, your Blade Lineage ID is just absolutely terrible. I'm not sure if Blade Lineage Otis is worse or you are worse, but Both of you are garbage. It's not even funny how garbage you be. Oh, paralyzed, nice. Unopposed, unclashable. Well, at least you're not gonna do any damage. Hilariously, all the damage to Dungeon and Bleed were doing were just helping me out since they put my Shiades at their health thresholds a lot faster. Well, that's the fun of Limbus Company and also Library of Runa, right? The team building and trying to synergize well with what you have. The fun for me, in Library of Runa at least, was a lot of... Oh no! No! My boy got staggered, you ass! How dare! How dare! Did he have a counter or something? Or did Blade Lineage lose his clash? Well, we can't have him die, so let's hope that we can do something about this. Okay, that's unopposed. Wait, is that unopposed or are you just faster? No, you're just faster. Okay, who are you at? Ah, fuck, okay, I can't have you not clash there. Okay. Who are you attacking? Okay, you... Okay, I can figure something out. So, hold up, we'll have... No, I don't want that neutral with you. Guess I could just do an ego. Fuck it. Do I have Cumulus Wall up? Hold up a second. Do I have them Cumulus Wall up? I do not, so I don't think I will be using my counter today. Unfortunate like. Do I have to have cumulus... Fuck, I can't say the fucking word. Do I have to have cumulus wall up if I have Ishmael on the field as well? I do remember there being some sort of situation where Heathcliff's counter does get the coin reroll even if cumulus wall isn't up if Ishmael is there, right? Or is it the other way around that if Cumulus Wall is up regardless of what happens, they get the coin rerolls? I don't remember. I don't know my IDs well enough. Also, Shidon, please, not Shidon. Blade Lineage done. Oh, did I get... No, I didn't get the stagger. I forgot you're an Abno. Are you an Abno though? You do have sanity. I don't remember. I think that the Time Ripper wasn't actually an abnormality, right? It was just someone that used a singularity. Come on, Honglu. I believe you always look super cool. Nice. Oh, okay, so they were a distortion. I thought they were using a singularity. Weren't they using T-Corp singularity to get more time or something? Where they could only get time from people that were bored. I might be talking out of my ass though. Alright, this is the last one. Which one do I want to grab? Let's just grab this one. Normal Abnos are usually quicker than the other ones. Which route do we want to take? We'll just do this. Oh wait, it's briefcase guy. Keywordless ego. We don't really have any blondes, so we'll go for the keywordless ego. This guy always reminded me a bit of the Hulk. But not the normal Hulk, but the grey Hulk. You know, the one that wears a suit and worked for the mafia for a little bit. Come on, yes.
별일 수 있는 기회겠죠?
개체가 유리한 조건을 이용하고자 하는 징조가 보입니다만.
Yeah, this is a human encounter, so I'm not gonna be able to do much anyway. So what do you guys think of the idea of having the mirror dungeon maybe be 2 floors shorter, but have just this
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요. 관리자님은
Abno battles, just having Abno battles. I feel like human battles just make the mirror dungeon feel a little more boring, because what are you gonna do in a human battle, right? You're just gonna do the win rate button. It's not like it really matters what skill you choose a lot of the time. You just have to pick your strongest skill unless it actively fucks you over. Damn, that looks so cool. I really like the touch that Ishmael's smoke or clouds behind her sword are a little bit orange. It really makes her stand out against the other Kurokumo.
개체에게 일격을 가하는데 성공했습니다.
재미는 없겠지만
나가서
그렇게
샴페인을
할게요.
가져오기엔 너무 이른 타이밍이긴 하겠지만 이 전투가 성공적으로 끝나면
I wonder if we're gonna get an announcer in the Arknight collab.
나쁘지 않겠죠.
Ideally, we would get something like Anya or Kelsif. That made the most sense to me. But it might be a bit much, right? I'll keep chain battles, wouldn't mind the shorter dungeon, but the enemy buffs will have to scale accordingly. Yeah, I just think that they should make Mirror Dungeon something that takes maybe 20 to 30 minutes to complete instead of the hour-ish that it takes normally, right? Maybe make the Mirror Dungeon shorter, but get less out of it so that you have to do it each day, right? Have it maybe so that you have 7... I don't know what it's called, like 7 reward thingies. And in total, they still give you about the same as these 3, but make the Mirror Dungeon shorter. Because that way, you have a reason for a player to come back each and every day and get something out of it. Make it feel like they have done something to strengthen their account. I don't really think that they do that enough in Limbus Company. No, I don't mean that you get less out of it overall. It's just that you divide the rewards that you get from these 3 rounds into 7. So you get like 750 lunacy in total, right? If you clear all the rewards from the Mirror Dungeon. So instead of giving a person 250 per Mirror Dungeon, you give them 110. Then you get 770 if you clear all the rewards. So it's still about the same amount of lunacy. It's just it's divided over multiple runs. And let's say that a Mirror Dungeon run takes between 20 and 30 minutes. That's just something that a person can do just real quick in between, let's say, work. Let's say a person is working, they have break. Oh, let's just quickly do the Mirror Dungeon today, and then I'll get my lunacy, I'll get some for the pass, and so on. It's a delicate balance, and we only have one side of perspective. True, I do feel like the devs are trying their best. I would have complained more even just 2 days ago, but I do feel with the information that I have now, which I got from listening to a dev stream, that they are solving a lot of problems I had with Limbus Company. The biggest being that it felt to me like if you wanted to keep watching the story, you need to spend either an inordinate amount of time or money to keep up with the meta. But they fixed that. Now they said they are gonna update the game so that you can just use lunacy to revive your party if you die. And that's an easy way for players that are just interested in the story to just experience the story. So honestly, my biggest gripe with Limbus Company has been solved in this. I still feel like maybe they should give a way for players to still be able to team build even if they're not spending a ton of money. And by that, I think that they should implement more 2-stars. They've been moving away from 2-stars lately, but I really think that 2-stars do have their place. 2-stars are easier to get, either by buying them with fragments or just in general in the gacha pool. They are less resource intensive, and let's say that each faction of Sinners has 6 2-star identities and 6 3-stars. Then that would give you plenty of team building abilities with just the 2-stars, and I think that would really help balance the game a bit better. And it wouldn't make it less lucrative money-wise, right? They did give their reasons. If they built a 2-star that's one design, they locked themselves out of a 3-star variant. That's fair. I'm not saying that they're moving away from 2-stars isn't something I can't understand. I just personally feel like to make the game more fun to play, I would prefer them keeping 2-stars around. I understand, yeah, 2-stars need to be simplified, otherwise what's the point of 3-stars? But I really do think that it would be better overall for the player base. Because it does require a lot of resources and time to get a 3-star to be on par so that they can participate in the story content. You would need to get them to level 55, you need to uptie them to 4, and yes, that is a requirement with a lot of IDs. And that takes a lot of time. Yeah, honestly, I expect Tom Sinclair to be a 2-star, but he isn't. Yeah, a lot of 3-stars that you get here do feel like they would have been 2-stars in any other situation, right? I think Kurokumo Heathcliff is one of the rare examples where it does feel like he's a 3-star, even though Ishmael was the main star of his event, right? But a lot of the time it does feel like you have one ID that is clearly the actual 3-star, and then you have a 2-star that was turned into a 3-star. It's honestly just a preference I have. I wish there were just more 2-star IDs so that it is less resource intensive to get a... I don't want to call it meta team, because if you just use 2-stars that wouldn't be meta. What would you call it? A relevant team. That it is less resource intensive and time intensive to get a relevant team together. Right? That's the only thing I think is a big weakness that Limbus Company has, outside of the whole mirror dungeon, not having anything that you can do daily that feels nice to do. Okay, there is another problem in Limbus Company as well. But I do think that having more 2-stars would help make the game more fun overall. Because let's be honest, if you only have 3-stars, then they don't really feel special. It just... At least that's how I feel about it. I don't think, oh my god, I got a 3-star. It just feels like, yeah, I got the 3-star because those are the only ones that there are. But this is just the perspective of a player that doesn't spend any money and isn't willing to spend a ton of time. I could see for low spenders and people that are really into Limbus Company for the gameplay, it being less of a problem. Because you can get all the identities basically for free if you're willing to spend the time, right? So it's not the end of the world. I'm just saying it's a preference. Got someone in Limbus, they got shafted with their initial pulls, 110 into Walpurgis banner and orientation. They got Butler Otis, Priest Gregor and some ego and a lot of 2-stars. Yeah, I got shafted in my Walrus polls as well. I kept getting the same announcer over and over again. I got the Tifrith announcer 4 or 5 times, I'm fairly sure. And there were other announcers I could have gotten, so I got super unlucky with that. I did actually get the identities fairly quickly. I got both the Dawn identity and the Rhodian identity in the first 70 pulls. So that was actually really good. But I did have to actually I did have to wait until Pity before I got the Dawn Ego. I don't know what it is with me and egos, but I have genuinely never pulled an ego in the gacha except for once, and that was Pursuance. That's the only time I've ever got an ego. And it's really weird, because if I remember correctly, the ego pull rate isn't all that worse than the 3-star pull rate. My damage was 110 to clean out the banner and got about an extra 5 3-star. Are you fucking serious? Really? Dang. That is really good. That is really freaking good, man. I'm a little jealous. I think overall that my luck with Limbus Company has been worse than other gacha games. When it comes to gacha games like FGO or Arknight, I've consistently gotten all the units I want, especially in FGO. But with Limbus Company, it will be rare if I don't have to get Pity. Pity is only 20 pulls though, so, well, 200 technically. Pity's only 200 pulls though, so that's a lot better than a lot of other gacha games. And it doesn't feel as bad because even all those fragments add up to getting more egos. If you have to be unlucky in any gacha game, it might as well be Limbus because it isn't as punishing. Oh, do remember though, the Arknight egos, you know, for the Arknight event are a permanent losable. Permanent, what do you call it? Okay, yeah, so these are permanent limited time egos. It isn't like Valparus where they'll have a rerun of the event. Apparently, if you don't get these egos in the event themselves, you're never gonna get them. So, I would recommend saving up for the Arknight event, because otherwise you're never gonna get these egos again. I have enough lunacy that I definitely am gonna be able to get all of them. With how my lunacy gathering is going, I should have enough for 1,000 pulls. And if I don't get all the egos in 1,000 pulls, then that would be absolutely atrocious. There are 4 egos, so even if I have to get Pity on all of them, I would still be able to get away with 800 pulls. I really hope it doesn't get there far though. It would physically hurt me if I have to actually get Pity on all 4 egos. Thankfully, Walrus is the one time I'm willing to pull on everything else is yellow boxes. And as part of my running gag, Ring Sang still in dispensary jail. Ring Sang got debuffed, right? So it's not as bad as it used to be. Let's see, what shall we get? Renewed merch. Well, that's not really super useful for me right now. Damn, I am really not getting many good egos, gifts here. Nope, alright. Guess we're just gonna enchant our gifts. Don't really need it. Okay, that's fair. Refresh the keyword. Let's go with slashing. Hey, we got the slash one. Nice. This one's also decent. And I don't really care about the others because we are just gonna level everything else up. I just grabbed 3 tier ego gifts just to fuse into tier 4. I hadn't thought about that, if I'm gonna be honest. That's actually a decent idea. If I have them... I don't think I can afford them now, though. But that would have been a good idea. We will see if I can fuse anything else. Oh, what's this? Non-disclosure agreement. That's a level 4 ego gift? Damn, I did not expect that. Let's see, any that I really don't need. I don't really need the Sippo lighter or that one yet. You know, I don't really care, honestly. It's not like I need it. Yeah, I just go through these mirror dungeons at this point. It's not like the normal mirror dungeon requires you to actually strategize all that much. I may try to go through the hard mirror dungeon with my charge team after this. Not streaming though, I think I already hit the 2-hour marks. Which is crazy when I'm only doing mirror dungeons. To be fair, I fucked up a couple of times. I kept accidentally setting the floor to hard mode with identities that I haven't leveled yet, so... 40 of those minutes on the stream were me fucking up. You can use the copy one. Well, you are actively yapping with us, so that extends the time. That's fair. How long do you think an average mirror dungeon run takes? I'd say maybe 30 to 40 minutes, right? If you have a good team for it. I'm not sure if Burn is the best team for it anymore. I heard that Burn was nerfed decently well, right? And we're just gonna do them damage. I know that you're technically supposed to kill these guys before they can do anything, but fuck it. I'm all for that damage. Pure meta build, 20 to 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. 10 minutes? Bullshit. What kind of team do you have that you can do it in 10 minutes? My god. I wish I had that. It takes me... On a good day, it takes me 40 minutes to get through a mirror dungeon. Because Wildhound Heathcliff and Solemn Lament Yi-Sang kill everything fast. Dang. Okay, I could see that. Heathcliff is still one of the best ones. Should I just go for win rate and ignore everything else? I feel like I could probably get away with it. He doesn't have that much HP anymore. Fuck it. If this fucks me over, then it fucks me over. Did I get the stagger off? Solemn Edgar Gregor. Is Edgar Gregor good? I've heard he's pretty decent in the sync team, but I haven't heard much else about it. That might just be because Wildhound Heathcliff was insane. God. I really like Kurakumo Ishmael. It might be because I've always liked Sayo's design, but I really like it. I think the black clothes really work with Ishmael's really orange hair. It just really works. That's one of the reasons why I would absolutely love to make a Kurakumo team around Ishmael, but the Kurakumos are just not good enough, I'd say. Yeah, Heathcliff Kurakumo's alright. Ryushi's, well, actually I really like Heathcliff Kurakumo. I'm not gonna say it's one of the best bleed identities, but it's good. Then you have Ryushi Kurakumo, which I'd say is fine. She isn't great, but she's fine. And the other Kurakumos are not good at all. Huh, got 140. And them claims. Good is always subjective, because people have still been able to go through Kanto 8 with just base IDs. Really? Damn, that's actually impressive. Alright, only 28 more levels for the pass. That is impressive, I will admit. Okay, I only have to do one more XP one. Alright, so I'll be honest, Blade Lineage Sinclair isn't that great. Even yeah, that's pretty good. I haven't finished the pass yet, mainly because I didn't really do anything with Limbus Company for a while when the season started. I got super burnt out from the Don Quixote fight, and I just was like, nah, I just need to take a break. But yeah, the problem is I need at least 2 Blade Lineages to make Blade Lineage Mentor Mersault work at his most effectiveness. But I really think that Blade Lineage St. Clair is just terrible. Fucking hell, 700. 700, fucking hell, okay. Rub it in, why don't you? Who would you guys say is the best Blade Lineage outside of Mersault? I think Dawn is pretty decent. I think Dawn is carrying her weight decently well. I've heard that Faust is pretty decent, but I don't have Blade Lineage Faust. Fair enough. Let's see, extraction, not extraction. I wish they did more banners that were not sinner oriented, but faction oriented. I always feel like those banners are just better to roll on because then you get something for specific team building. Where with this Yizang banner, you can focus on one ego or identity, but that's it. Oh, I don't have all the 2 stars. I thought I had most of the 2-star identities, but I don't. I don't see Blade Lineage Faust anywhere. I don't have most of the egos. Yeah, see you later. The only thing I know prior to playing Limbus was Walton, Lemmy, Morn, Despair, go brrr. I really wish I could get this jury announcer, but it costs actual monies, and I refuse to spend monies. Honestly, Ting Tang is also a pretty good bleed identity still. I was actually thinking of maybe having Ting Tang be my identity for a bleed team for Hong Lu, because he's honestly pretty good. He still does decent damage. He has ineffective against Slash. Might be worth it. Limbus is the only gacha I spend money just because I actually like playing this game. Fair, if you're gonna spend money on any gacha, might as well be a Limbus. Yeah, nothing here. What season did Blade Lineage Faust come out? I don't remember. I don't really care for Rose Banner Workshop. Oh, there we go. We have Kurakumo, Clan, Gregor. I do really like Gregor's design here. I like his arm as well. It's pretty cool. Clash win, inflict 1 bleed. When one ally with the lowest speed hits an enemy with 7+ bleed, inflict... Ah! That's not bad. Let's see what his skills are like. That's a 10 max. But it can become a 12. Yeah, it's Clash power, so it can become a 12. That's a Clash power again. So that's a 17 at max, which isn't bad for a skill 2. And then... Okay, this is coin power, that's Clash power. So at its maximum, it can be a 17. That's not that great. That's not that great for a skill 3, but still pretty decent. The passive ain't bad either. So okay, so I'd say that Kurakumo Clan Captain isn't that bad, honestly. It's fine. I think I would use him. I'd probably use him. And then Faust, let's see. What are these red... What are these red things? Are they flower petals? I don't remember her animations having flower petals. Okay, what's red bloom? Unique bleed. Max value 10. Plus 10 chance for this unit to be critically hit if this unit is the main target. When struck by a crit hit, gain bleed equal to the half of the value and take damage on crit hit, reduce value by 1 when hit. Okay. Don't really think it's great, but at +7. Oh wait, I didn't see how strong the coins were. I got lucky at the start of the game and got W Dawn and Dicey Rhodian, so I had a pretty easy time until Dong back. I started the game a little bit later than you. I wanted to finish Library of Runa before I got into Limbus Company because I didn't want to get spoiled. But yeah, I started right during the Dom Back event. I think I was still in Season 1, but barely. Maybe a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks in Season 1. And I don't think I got super lucky with my identities. I do remember having to buy W Dawn for my charge team because the first team I made was charge. Yeah, let's see, what are your coin powers like? Okay, so your max coin power would be... Okay, so 9, that's a 12 in total. That's honestly not bad for skill 1, but overall nothing amazing. Okay, so that's an 18 for skill 2. That's not bad, right? Inflict more red bloom. That's 2. Okay, gain 2 poise count. Gain 2 poise count. Okay. Bind. I like bind. The main draw for the full BL theme is because BL Salt is the tide that lifts all boats. You always have to view the BL IDs win under BL Salt bonus because it's too easy to activate the bonus. That's true. Mersalt was specifically made to buff the BL identities because they were that bad. Deal +3 damage for every red plume blossom on target. Okay, that's not bad. Coin power +1 for every 7 poise on self, max 3. Clash win, consume half the poise count on self, then gain poise equal to poise count consumed. This skill does not consume red plume blossom on hit. Okay, that's not bad. Inflict 5 red plume blossom. If target has 10 red plume blossom, inflict 1 slash fragility. I feel like that is not something that's gonna happen often, because red plume blossom gets lowered fairly easily. It's on every crit hit, right? So, unless... I guess it depends. Does this... Okay, so this doesn't consume it. This doesn't consume red plume blossom. But do you get the +5 red plume blossom and then it can trigger this? Because if it can trigger this, then I suppose it's decently likely that you'll have 10 red plume blossom if you use this skill, because it will give you 10 red plume blossom if you crit. But otherwise I feel like this is never gonna trigger ever, right? Well, if you run less than full team and have Faust on deploy, you can stack plume blossom mighty fast. And then for every 4 poise on self, gain final power 1. Okay, that's not bad for defense. I don't really like defensive defense skills, but... And the max is... That is 14 and 19 skill tree. That's not ideal, but overall I'd say that Blade Lineage Faust is better than Blade Lineage Sinclair by a fair bit. I'd say she is gonna be the 3rd best Blade Lineage after Mersalt and Dawn. I think Dawn is still better, but not by much. Yeah, see you later, man. I don't know if I want to give 400 fragments for Blade Lineage Faust, though. That seems like it's a bit expensive for an ID like this. Can't get any of these, so I can't get any of the Blood Fiends, unfortunately. That would have been pretty useful. I may have just gotten all the Blood Fiends if I could. But I don't have the fragments. Well, I'll figure it out. Gonna have to wait for next season. First to buy the Lemon Enchilada crew. Yeah, but yeah, that wouldn't really be relevant for me at that point because I'm trying to finish Kanto 8 and I'm just trying to build a strong team for Kanto 8 specifically so that I can participate in the Arknights event. So I'm trying to figure out a team that can just wreck the rest of Kanto 8. I'm at the Capo boss, so that means I only need to deal with 3 more fights. Not easy fights, but 3 more fights. If you have a recommendation for a good team to defeat Kanto 8, then I'm all ears. I wouldn't mind doing a bleed team, because that means that I can use Kurakumo Ishmael, and I really like Kurakumo Ishmael, but I'm not really sure if there are enough good bleed identities for that aren't Blood Fiends. A lot of the good bleed identities came out here, right? So... Not you, you're a burn identity. Are you bleed? No, you're rupture. You're actually... Huh. That's kinda neat. If you don't have the full stop duo, I just run Molar Boat, Daisy Honglu, Yuri Faust, and either Mage Chef Su. I don't have many, but... I don't have many of those. I don't have Daisy Honglu. I do have Yuri Faust, and I don't have Mage Chef Su. That's unfortunately the reality of my situation. I don't have many. I do not have a lot. But I'll figure something out. I'm not gonna attempt the Kanto 8 until I have finished my season pass anyway, because then I'll have some more resources to level up a couple of identities. So I still have time. I doubt I'll finish this banner until at least next week. Even if, let's say, I do a mirror dungeon each day, or even 2 each day, it would still take me about a week to get to level 120. Technically, you just need IDs who just run a Fate, because if you run less than a full team, you can have Fate through cracks and unbreakables. That's true. That's true. Also, I think I'm just gonna try doing a Kurakumo based team and maybe just plug in the caps with some poise stuff. Just see how it works. Might be fun to experiment and everything. I do really think that most of the Kurakumos aren't... Like, I don't think Kurakumo Ryushi is gonna be all that good though, because she's weak to Fatal, even to Slash. I just abused Ishmael Rosette, the Sire Ego, for its passive. I don't have all those egos. You might think I have a bad situation with IDs, but I have an even worse situation with egos. Unless the egos were in the season pass, I will probably not have them. I am terribly unlucky when it comes to egos. Alright, well, I did spend about 2 hours, so I am gonna call it a day. Thanks for watching. And hopefully next time we see each other, I'll be able to finish my season pass. That's actually gonna be super unlikely, because I'll have to do a crap ton of mirror dungeons. But yeah, thanks. See you guys later. If I know where the stop stream button is. There we go.